What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Raven, and this is a special one because this is the first time we've actually gone completely into the realm of paganism on this channel. And we've touched on it before, of course. This channel was started on my tarot readings. But I wanted to show you guys something, and it's this book. This is the first ever copy of this book, and it was written by Lady Adnor here, who's joining me today to discuss this very book, which, if you're looking into Wicca, you're brand new into it, this is a great starting point. If you need a refresher, this is the book. If you're looking to do a solo practice, again, this is your book. Lady Adnor, thanks for coming. It is so good to have you finally.
I know. Thank you. Yeah, you were the very first person to purchase. Did you get both the hard and the soft?
No, just the soft cover.
Okay. Did you recommend the hardbound? The hardbound just seems so much nicer.
Yeah.
So, this one I'm just kind of hanging on to it. And then I read my own book. As you see, I have pages marked. But just a small correction of what the book is witchcraft, not Wicca.
Okay.
It is solely focused on practicing witchcraft.
Right.
But there are some Wiccan things in there, right? I talk about Gerald B. Gardner, how he's the founder of Wicca, and some of the things that he dealt with throughout his life, and being in the coven, and they call him the father of Wicca. I do talk about that, but it's mostly witchcraft. Okay, so you can be Wiccan and not practice witchcraft, because Wicca is a religion you follow. Witchcraft is a practice.
Okay. Yeah.
So there are differences, although they are a lot the same. So you can be Wiccan and practice witchcraft at the same time, and you can do witchcraft without worrying about Wicca, and because Wicca has rules.
Mm-hmm.
The Wiccan Read is your rule. It's basically kind of like, not that all right, you already know how I feel about Christianity, but the best way to really say it is that the Wiccan Read is like the Ten Commandments rolled up in one little short poem, if you will. Mm-hmm. Okay, the Law of Three, karma, that's what it talks about. That's mainly your only rule, really, in Wicca. Now, as far as witchcraft, we don't worry about karma because we believe in balance, creating a balance. And that's another thing about the book. So, like I said, first we start off with some Gerald B. Gardner. I talk about Constantine and the history with that. Now, these are facts. Even some Christians would be good to read at least the first part of the book, because you wouldn't believe when you say, well, haven't you ever heard of Constantine? No. Well, he was pagan and he gave you your religious beliefs. Yep. Christian religion beliefs. Thank a pagan for your Christian beliefs.
Yeah, he was a follower of the Roman gods up until there was a battle he was involved in. And then I think it was right after that he turned.
You mean that's when he supposedly converted into Christianity?
Right.
Okay. So, what happened?
That was the story.
Yeah, well, you're on track. What happened was, there was wars going on, and his people were fighting amongst each other. And Constantine took Christianity and used it as a political tool in order to control the masses, even though he worshipped pagan gods behind closed doors. He never really flipped.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, no, he was always pagan.
So he was just practicing he was still he was still very much in the broom closet, so to speak.
Well, I don't know if I would say that. I would just say he was very manipulative. Very manipulative. Now, he had to show that he had flipped, as you put it, or converted. Mm-hmm. We'll say, converted. He had to present that out in the open in order for others to follow him.
Right.
Right? And Christianity, again, was used as a political tool to control the masses. And then later on, it then became commercialized to take your money.
Mm-hmm.
So not only does it control people, it also drains your bank account. It feeds the economy.
You know, I think there's actually a movie within the last 10 years that touches on that very thing. It was a movie, one of my favorite post-apocalyptic movies ever. It's called Book of Eli. And Denzel
That is
Washington.
a great movie. I've watched it a couple of times. Now I'm going to have to watch it again.
I love that movie. It's like there Gary Oldman keeps sending his goons out. They keep coming back with books because he can't tell them which book that he really wants. Mainly because I don't think his guys are literate, so they don't know what they're looking at. But when he finds out Eli has
blind.
Yes, that was the big twist. So, spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen the movie.
I'm so sorry.
It's been 10 years. You should know this by now. It's all over. Look, we live in a world where Deadpool and Wolverine just blew out every character that they have ever been inspired to cameo. So I already know that Gambit shows up, Blade shows up again, and we're talking Snipes this time. I already know about that. I know Henry Cavill plays a version of Wolverine in this movie. So I'm like, well, that cat's out of the bag. No surprises there. But yes, the twist ending to Book of Eli is that Eli is blind and his Bible is in Braille.
Right. Now, I remember that. I'm going to have to watch the movie again. I think I've watched it twice. I don't think my husband really cared for it, but I really liked it. I thought it was
great. Yeah.
And I think it is on Netflix.
Yeah, I have it on my Plex server. I bought it on Blu-ray, and I was like, I got to put it on my Plex server.
Right. So, so back to, like I said, the book is because I am a spiritual practicing witch. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now I grew up Baptist Pentecostal, and not like on a regular, I guess kind of on a regular, but not like we didn't go every single Sunday, every single Wednesday, things like that. But we did go to church a lot. And I do remember at one point, there was a time that I asked my parents for a Bible. Matter of fact, I still have that Bible. Okay. And I mean, I was just a young girl. But, when I first really started reading and studying it, Wicca and witchcraft, of course, after a while, I'm like, okay, so I'm Wiccan. But the more that I studied, and then when I started to practice, I'm like, oh, no, I'm a witch. I'm not Wiccan, because I will do whatever I feel is necessary in order to bring about a balance, whether it's justice, revenge, healing, hexing, curse. Witches, we do what we want. Okay, we don't. Now I do. I guess I'm maybe a little bit Wiccan because it's not like I'm going out there, hexing everyone and trying to put them 6 feet underground. Like I'm not. Yeah. I'm not trying to say anything like that. I'm just, and I am a good person. I believe I'm a good person. But when I first started studying and practicing, I would always worried about it. I'm like, oh, is this really devil stuff? Am I really going to go to hell? And, I had that little bit of a battle inside of me, although I kept studying and I kept studying and I kept studying. And then the more but see, that was before I got to the history of it.
Yeah.
So as I kept going and I started getting the history of Christianity, getting the history of Wicca, okay, getting the history of when I started learning that, I didn't just take everything at face value. I did research on my own. I bought books because I prefer to read a book than I would to, don't get me wrong, I do use Google quite a bit. We all do. But I've got books where I've studied Freemasonry. I've got demonology books. I've got necromancy books. I've got Wicca and witchcraft encyclopedias. I have all of this stuff, but because I didn't learn the history first is why, and because of how I was raised, I feel that's what kind of gave me that tug of war in here, and oh my, I would worry about that. And then, like I said, once I started learning the history and stuff, and that's why I think, my book, whether you're pagan or not, I think anyone would benefit from the history that's in the front of this book. Because, like I said, there's a lot of Christians that have no idea. They don't know who Constantine is. They don't know who gave them their religion.
Yeah.
And the reason I can say this because I got my two sisters, they're Christian, and I asked both of them, even my mother, they don't know who Constantine is. They didn't know until I said something. I didn't go real deep into it with them, but so I guess there for a while, maybe in the beginning, I was like, yeah, I'm Wiccan. And I definitely told my ex-husband that I was Wiccan instead of, because he would, I was with him and, I'd buy a few books here and there and I would get lectured about it. Don't get carried away. Don't get too many books, because he was Christian, even though he was an alcoholic and a drug addict. He would preach to me as he's, tipping his beer. And I said, keep on doing that, buddy. And I'll see you in hell. I'll see you in hell. So, but that's what it was. And my ex-husband was very abusive. So I had to kind of make sure I stayed within his guidelines. You understand? Like, I had to be cool about stuff. So, but I recommend honestly the book for anyone that's new. And if you are struggling with leaving your old beliefs behind, say Christianity, and you're looking into Wicca, and now I'm not going to, I don't want to say, we don't want to use Wicca and witchcraft interchangeably because they're not the same. That's what a lot of people don't realize. They're not the same.
Yeah, I didn't realize until you brought it up.
Yeah, they're not the same. Again, like Christianity is a religion you follow.
Right, yeah.
That's why they're called sheep. Okay, they follow. And then you got someone in charge of the flock, right? So that they don't step out of line. So religion is something you follow. Witchcraft is an art. It is a practice. It is something you utilize and you practice daily. And you incorporate it into your daily life. Okay. So I think it would be really good for anyone starting out, especially if they're kind of struggling with leaving Christianity behind. I also feel that it is good for the advanced practitioner. Because a Wiccan, you wouldn't refer to a Wiccan as a practitioner if they don't practice witchcraft. Okay, so throughout my book, that's all you read. You read the practitioner because it's a witchcraft book. I forgot what I was going to say. So you and I might get back to you and I. You are with me in the community on Gilded Solitary Coventry, right?
Yep.
And you, like we said, we remember you were the very first person to buy the book. I couldn't believe it. He's like, I just bought it. I'm like, oh my God. So one of my biggest supporters you are. We don't really know each other all that well, but we do know where we stand when it comes to religion. Okay. And we can just kind of say, that includes witchcraft. And we also know where we stand politically, and that's not where we're going. But, it's nice that people like us, and the people that are on Gilded, it's nice that we can, let's put it this way, it's nice that we can connect spiritually as far as a religion or a practice and fall in line spiritually when it comes to politics. Because, really you got to use your discernment to understand what is going on in our political world. And if you don't have an ounce of spirituality in you, you're not going to understand it. It was so funny. I watched something with Tucker Carlson. I got to bring this up real fast. It was so funny. He was talking about how Christians are the only people that really know what's going on, like politically, and where. And I was listening to that. I was like, he's like, yeah, they're the only ones that are aware. They're the only ones that know what's going on. They're the only ones that's not in shock. I'm like, what is this guy talking about? Like, I'm sorry, Christianity is the most woke religion you could ever follow. Right? Now you know what woke is, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Not to the right, that way. But when I was listening to that, I was just like, this crackerjack don't know shit about what he's talking about. Okay, because nothing surprises me, with what's going on. Nothing at all. But I think it's really great, though, like I said, that we can connect. People like us can connect somewhere safe. And that's another thing. Do you remember when you first came on to Gilded? And I just said, hey, read the pinned post in each chat. Just everybody be nice to each other and there's no problems. And we've had zero problems. We've had zero drama with each other. Everyone is free to say whatever they want and how they feel. Because I don't kick guys out. I don't reprimand you and say, you shouldn't say that. I don't reprimand you and kick you out. It's a great place for like-minded pagans to come, and Patriot Pagan Fellowship. Actually, Gandalf gave it that name. So Gilded, Solitary Coventry, Patriot Pagan Fellowship. Yeah, I thought that was a cool name to call that. So I don't know if you know, but I have 9 5-star reviews.
Mm-hmm.
I have 9 reviews, and they're all, so I'm like 5 and 5, right? I'm like a 5-star review all the way across the board. My book has gone global. I don't know if you knew that.
I have not known that. I did not. That's awesome.
If I remember correctly, someone in Canada bought one, and someone in the UK has bought one, and then I think the rest have been in the US. But because it's sold in other places outside of the US, my book, it has a global 5-star review.
Very cool.
Yeah, I think that was, I started handwriting my book in 2004.
Whoa, wow.
Yeah, because see, I was thinking about that because I kept saying, oh, I wrote the book 13 years ago. I wrote the book, but I actually started handwriting it in 2004, and then life just kind of got away from me.
Yeah.
And then I actually wrote it, I'm going to say 10 to 13 years ago. And I just, never got it published. And so what I did is I broke it up into classes, and I started teaching, and I used my book as a guideline to teach.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So after breaking the book up like that, matter of fact, that like the book would be 2 of this if I would have added everything in there. But I decided, well, maybe I'll just break it up and do, something else. But just so everyone knows, Solitary Coventry is going to be in the title of every book that I have in mind. Okay, once they, when they're ready to publish, they're all going to say solid, just like, on the side of this one, right? It says Solitary Coventry, Practical Yet Magical Approach to Living Life Spiritually.
Nice.
Yeah, so they're all going to have, Solitary Coventry on it. I do want them all to be black and white because I love black and white. But I'm working on a book for empathy. I do have a book in mind about how America is pagan, how the entire world is pagan. And, that one's going to take a lot of digging into, because I'm going to be talking about a lot of symbolism, okay, that we see, right? Like I actually talk about that in my book here, Solitary Coventry, Practical Yet Magical Approach to Living Life Spiritually. The Pentagon is in the shape of a pentagram. Okay, and most people know that the pentagram is a symbol of protection. So it would only make sense that pagan America would want a pentagram as a symbol of protection to represent the Pentagon. What does the Pentagon do? It's all about protection. So our money, pagan symbols, our statues, historical statues, pagan symbolism, the Statue of Liberty, pagan symbolism, all of it is pagan, all of it. So the entire world is pagan, they just don't know it.
And to your point here, I just went and looked something up, and I wanted to share this.
Sure.
And here it is. DC street map and symbolism, and right here.
There's your pentagram.
Yep. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that is exactly where the Pentagon is.
Yeah, it's in the shape of a pentagram. It's in my book. I would have to go back and look in my book to see what I said about it. I touched on it briefly in my book just because I talked a lot about the symbolism and the meaning of the pentagram, because the pentagram, it goes as far back as as far back as Mesopotamia. I can't say the word.
Mesopotamia.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
I mean, the Sumerians, it was there, and they never even worried about the placement of the pentagram. It didn't matter which, if it was upside down, if it was turned sideways, or if it was backwards. There was never a concern about which way the pentagram was placed. But that's how old this symbol is. This symbol is by far way older than what any Christian branch could tell you, because and believe it or not, the pentagram was once used, and it's in the book too, used as a symbol to represent the 5 wounds of Christ.
Yep, I do remember that. I still remember. I did get one of those pentagram necklaces when I was younger, and I was still a practicing Catholic at the time.
See, and practicing Catholic. Now, explain that to me.
Okay, so that one I did actually attend, and this was 100% voluntary. At the time, though, I was trying to dispel a lot of rumors that were going around about me, and I was very, very much unsuccessful. But anyway, I wore that, and that was one of my first missteps. And no amount of explaining that bit of history stuck anywhere. And they were demanding I take it off. I was like, no.
Okay, so what do you mean practice Catholicism? What do you mean a practicing Catholic?
I was literally following the teachings from the Catholic Church, because that's what I grew up in.
Okay, so
that was my reference there.
So were you following, because you don't practice Catholicism? Yeah. So
not anymore.
You followed.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm just, because follow and practicing that's what I'm trying to understand. There's a practice within
two different things, yeah. And at the time, yeah, I was attending masses. I was in every one of them. If there was a mass going on, I didn't care if it was at midnight. I was going. And
how old were you How old were you?
Probably about. I was probably, at the time, my age range was probably about 15 to 17. Later, got baptized into a Baptist church. That was around when I was 18 or 19.
I don't know if my parents ever had me baptized or not. I don't remember.
Yeah, I do remember mine. I was baptized probably about 4 or 5, and then I was about 18 or 19 when I got baptized into this Baptist church that I used to go to. And I kept running into the same problem, which was, oh, you didn't go to my church. And it's I can't attend everyone's fucking church. That's just not going to happen. After a while, I got to see the attempts I was doing were stressing me out. Nothing was working. None of these people hung out with me. So I was like, okay, what, and my dad had a conversation with me. It made a lot of sense. And he was telling me, look, you can stop stressing yourself out now, because, if what you do isn't good enough for them, do nothing for them. Let them scream. They're screaming anyway. You might as well find something.
That's good. That's good, though. Your dad to
Hmm.
say that.
Yeah. And believe it or not, my dad, Baptist, but doesn't really like he doesn't attend any church or anything like that. He just has his beliefs. That's what he sticks by. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But that five wounds of Christ thing, that's what I went with that symbol. And boy, that ignited a firestorm. So I was like, okay, you know
Oh,
what?
well, yeah, because Satanists took over the symbol to
Hmm.
represent the satanic church and things like that. And I do talk about that in the book a little bit.
Yeah.
So there are things in the book that I do touch base on that will be more elaborated on, and the pagan America being pagan.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't know when that book's going to come. When it's warmer out, I like to be outside, and I cannot see my laptop at all when I'm sitting outside in the daylight. So I'm just like, I don't want to be stuck in the house.
Yeah.
So did you like the book? I mean, you left me a good review. I can't remember what it
Yeah.
was.
I did. I liked it. And the thing is, I kind of like in terms of practice, I do my practices at my altar over here, which is dedicated to Norse gods, but I found a lot of this extremely helpful.
Right.
This
So
it
being,
cleared up a lot of gray area for me. I was like,
oh,
this
well,
was
that's great. Well,
money
see,
well spent.
thank you. When I see, I don't follow one pantheon,
Hmm.
okay, because I am self-taught. If I were, yeah, I do not, I know there's people that are like, how do I get into a coven? I want to get into a coven. Honestly, I don't agree with covens because me being a crone I'm 52 years old, and let's say somebody, wants to bring me into a coven, right? They want to initiate
Hmm.
me in, and let's say I agree to it, but they're going to knock me all the way down. They're going to tear me down and rebuild me the way that they want. It's not going to matter the knowledge or the experience that I've had for 25 plus years.
That's very
It's
true.
be taken all away. I don't
Yep.
want someone controlling me, you
Nah.
know. No, I'm a spiritual practicing witch. I'm a free spirit. I do what I feel I need to do. I don't need someone to tear me down and rebuild me the way they think. It's just like when you go into the military, right? They tear you down and they rebuild you the way that they want. You know,
Indoctrination. Yeah.
yes, yes. So, if I
Oh, I know
were to be
y'all
in
are
a
calling me
coven,
now. I know y'all are calling me right now. Nope. Leave a message.
if I were to be in a coven, it would be my own, and
Yeah.
I would teach it just like I do this book.
Right.
You
Exactly.
know, I don't follow any particular pantheon. I I'm a crazy witch. He says the book was a great refresher for me. But you also said you learned some new stuff, so that's what we got to remind everybody. It would be a great refresher for someone that's been doing doing things for a while. But there's always something new. A friend of mine, Marcus Yawn. He bought the book and he wasn't even halfway through. He shot me a message on Facebook, and he calls me Goddess. He says, Goddess, I love your book. He says, I've been practicing for 40 years and I'm not even halfway through, and I'm learning some things I never knew. So um, hopefully it's a good book for anyone, no matter what stage they're in. But yeah, I don't follow any one pantheon. I like to, say the Lord, the Lady, the Great Spirit. I don't always call on a specific deity, but when I do, it doesn't matter what pantheon that god or goddess is from. I may meditate on it. I may wait a little while, and then this god or goddess is going to reach out to me, and then I'm going to know who I need to work with, and what for, and when. How, what, and when, right?
Yeah.
Uh, so being solitary, yes, the book it does not follow any particular pantheon. But if I were to have a coven, like I said, I wouldn't, I would just, I would go with you guys, just like I teach my classes. Like if I was the head of the coven, that's how it would be, and just like on Gilded, we would talk and, we talk more politically than we do anything else, but that's, we learn from each other.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work like that.
I think with the political aspect, this was something I encountered probably very, very late '90s when I first got into the Gardnerian Wicca and stuff like that. Obviously, Buckland's Big Blue. I literally found that. I'm not kidding you. 100%. This is true. I went into my local library and found Buckland's Big Blue book.
Are you serious?
I never checked it out. I just sat in there and started reading. Go ahead. I just started reading and was completely fascinated by it. I was bringing a notebook with me, taking notes, and eventually I was like, I need to find a copy of this. And no kidding, I went to New Orleans for a weekend. I found a little place called Esoterica and bought that very book and took it home. That's the one. Yep, that's the one.
Oh my God, I got this in 06.
Wow.
06. All of my books that I either buy for myself. Now I was really good friends with a guy named Edward, and we would always go to like half price books. I don't know if you heard of those. They're like there's some.
I've heard, yeah, but we don't have one around me, and I'm like, oh, I'd love to go.
Wow. Well, we would go to Barnes and Nobles and some bookstores, and I mean, I would not have the library that I have today if it wasn't for him, because he's always buying me books, and they were always Wicca, witchcraft, encyclopedias related to all of that. So, I mean, like I said, I am self-taught. I got a little over 400 books, but any book, a matter of fact, I must have bought this one because I put my name in it. It's actually my married name to my ex-husband. And I always put the date of when I bought it. So now I bought my own 2 books and oh shit. Oh, I did get the date. Can you see that?
I can now. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So I did it in my own book. It says, bought my own book, 3/26 of 24. I am so proud of you to say I finally did it. Okay. Because this book has been, if you think about it, it's been in the making pretty much since, I started handwriting when I went to work in a notebook in 2004.
20 years.
Yeah. So, and then I bought my hardbound, and I did this one too. And it says, be proud of yourself, April 10th, 2024. And I signed my name. So I do it to any book I buy, that's related to my practice. But, so now let me ask you, because we really haven't talked about this part of it yet.
Yeah.
So the book is, again, it starts off with some history. We go into Constantine. We talk about the pentagram and the pentacle and, a little bit of stuff like that. And then we talk about, and then I go kind of almost immediately into terminology.
Yep.
And I even say in the book, you might find it strange that, you're going to be looking at terminology this soon in the book.
I got the terminology section marked.
There he goes.
Definitely kept that one marked.
Well, see, the reason I did that is because, when I read this book, if I want terminology or whatever's going on, I got to go into the back of the book.
Yeah.
Before I can understand what I just learned.
Yep. I picked up a dictionary and a thesaurus to look up what he was saying before I realized there's an entire section in the back. I was like,
oh yeah, there usually is. But see, that's why I have encyclopedias as well, because not all encyclopedias have all of the information.
Mm-hmm.
Because some encyclopedias might be a little older and then some are more revised with more information. So getting encyclopedias that are related to the occult is a must-have. But anyways, like I said, I start off with terminology because I want people to learn, really learn, understand what it is that they're going to be like, understanding the terminology so that whatever follows after the terminology, you understand what it is you're learning.
Exactly.
Okay. It was so funny. I did a real short, I don't know if you saw it, I uploaded it to Rumble. And I'm always putting out there, be careful who you're learning from. And I did a short live on Solitary Coventry the other day, and I uploaded the replay on the Rumble. And that's it. That's what it was about. Careful who you're learning from. And I didn't go into a whole lot of detail, like say we are tonight, or like how I do in my book. But it was so funny because someone commented and said, "Well, I just listened to this whole thing, and your teachings are kind of thin." I'm like, if you want real teachings, then take a class or a workshop or buy my book. It's like, where your teachings are kind of thin. You want to really learn? Message me. You take a class, take a workshop, buy my book. If you want, because I teach textbook, meaning textbook, right? Textbook. People are like, what's that mean? You went to college or you went to high school and you learned from an English book or history. That's textbook. I teach textbook in my classes and my workshops. Same thing. Yep. This is a textbook. Okay. But so let me just ask your opinion, because like I said, we really never did. I mean, you did leave your comment, and you did message me on the side on Gilded, and you were just like, I love the book. This is great. I'm halfway through, and I'm like, oh my God, like I was just really impressed and appreciate really your support. And this too, I appreciate this was your idea. So I appreciate you supporting me once again. You're fantastic. But
absolutely.
Do you feel that, because I'm trying to lay the book out where you can create a balance in your everyday life and in your practice? Do you think, was that, because that was the main intention, really the core of the book is so that you can create a balance in your practice and in your everyday life. Do you think I achieved that goal?
You know what? You're asking the right person, because astrologically, I'm a Libra, and that is everything we seek is a balance. Like we are, especially myself. I love to argue against the status quo whenever possible, just because sometimes the status quo itself is wrong, and they don't have all the facts. Just because they agree on something doesn't mean it's correct. Look at the world around us right now. And this brings up a couple previous points. One I put into my article, Letting Go, which was the Havamal stanza 5. It says, the wise know that knowledge is a steady anchor, even in the roughest of waters. Those who wander without wisdom are destined to be tossed by the waves. Look at our news cycle now. It is 24/7 up to the nanosecond, this crisis, that crisis, everything they can throw at you.
Well, it's all negative.
Right. To keep you in a traumatized. When I say traumatized, it doesn't mean that you're like, and completely in a grip of panic, but just to keep you in enough fear that you are easily controlled. And then we have this, which I'll share this one on screen because, doggone it, this is actually some pretty good stuff, and we're talking about it right here, right now. And here we go. Oh, cool. I'm a Libra too, and in the same way.
Well, Crazy Witch is with us on Gilded, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And here we go. We're gonna go to this screen, which I think is amazing. Here it is. Boom. Let's share that. Here is the full version of the read.
Yeah, I have it in the book.
Yep. And we usually go with the last part right here, this highlighted section, and you harm none, do what you will. I think that with what you've presented in this book, what you presented in the book actually did aid my morning ritual. Just that it wasn't a great amount, but it was enough to get me to think about it. And I did add those little bitty elements to it that made it so much better. Okay. So now I'm doing those offerings every morning. I'm doing my Thanksgiving every morning. I'm doing the candle lighting ceremony every morning. And from the outside perspective,
I know you're talking about the everyday altar you're doing an everyday altar that you learned in the book.
I'm doing an everyday altar.
That's
Yes.
amazing.
I'm doing an everyday altar
more.
because, and I did like at first it was just an altar to set up, but after a while I was like, it seems like I'm not really doing much, and I did an occasional ceremony, and after reading this I was like, time to step up. It's definitely needed, and I think it not so much for my own personal benefit, but for the benefit of those around me. If they can help me to help someone out there, great. If they can, if my gods, my friends can do it themselves, great. If they can inspire someone, great. I just want to be able to see it. I don't want the credit for it. I just want to be able to see it. And so far, so much better.
That is great. Let's see, I had no idea you started doing an everyday altar.
Yep. As a matter of fact, I got a picture of that son of a gun that I
was just going to ask you. You got your picture of you holding my book?
No, I don't have that picture, not handy, but I do have this one. And let's see, I'm just kind of looking for it right now because I know I took it kind of recently, and I did use it for one of my own pieces of writing. So it was probably after all this. Where did it go? The one time I really need it, and it just decided, you know what, I'm going to ghost you. It's like, oh, come on. Here it is. There we go. Okay, so I can share this one now. And we're just going to share that screen with a window.
After you share that, I'm gonna give you a pop quiz.
There you go.
Oh, that is beautiful. I would show you mine, but my laptop isn't gonna. I got mine up on the wall in the other room. That's beautiful. Oh, look, and you got your what is that? Rose quartz and.
Yep, that's my rose quartz and tiger eye over here. Yeah, I got another piece of tiger eye there. Got a piece of green aventurine there. Behind the candle is a piece of amethyst. Got my this stuff right here in this little bowl. I wear it every day. Sometimes I'll switch up the Mjolnirs, but this is pretty much my go-to. And then I got a couple of rings over here. So my pendulum.
Laying that stuff on your altar, when you're done wearing it or using it, it helps keep it cleansed and charged.
That's exactly it.
Okay, so here's your pop quiz. You read the book.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I wasn't planning on no pop quiz, but we're going to see. You read the book, and then you brought up do as ye will and ye harm none.
Mm.
Explain to me, without leaving anything out, because a lot of people don't think about it. And I'm wording it almost exactly how I did in the book because I teach this in my classes. Okay, do as ye will and ye harm none. That would include what?
Shit.
It's so easy.
It is easy, and I'm blanking. But it does that. Those 8 words do force you to really think about the things you're doing. Like you really do have to think about how what you do affects someone else.
Is that your answer?
That's my answer.
Okay. So affects someone else as far as family members, a stranger, the person working at the supermarket, whoever you come in contact with on social media. Do whatever you want. Just don't harm, don't do no bad, right?
Right.
What people forget is that you should do no harm unto yourself either. So that's the correct answer. That's
a good point.
A lot of people forget that, because you're not thinking about yourself. And we're not thinking about ourselves because we're too busy putting everyone else first. If you don't start with you, you can't do anything else outside of that.
That's also very true, yeah.
Okay, so you have to, that's why do as ye will and ye harm none. None, I would fall under that. None, because that's, if I was to stand by and ye harm none, right? stand by the wick and read, then I would have to remember not to do something to harm myself, like
Yeah.
smoke cigarettes. But good thing I'm a witch, because I'm truly addicted to cigarettes. But you understand, just an example.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you were to follow the read, that's good. But, in your mind, you didn't think about you. You were worried about everybody else.
Mm.
And that's, and you know what? Don't worry. You do what makes you feel balanced.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you do. And always, always put you first, no matter what it is.
Right. Yeah. That's something else we've discussed in the tribe was the fact that you have to position yourself well in order to help anybody else. If you're just completely broke, you have no money to hand out to anybody for any reason.
Well, I mean, not even
it's
broke financially. You can be broke spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and until you get in the right mind frame, right? The right mind frame, yes, till you get healthy. Okay, like you said. Okay, so something that you said that made me want to say this. Okay, so I started the book, handwriting it in 2004. Life got away from me. It wasn't time. I wrote the book 10, 13 years ago. It wasn't time for it to be published, right? I still had to grow. I still had to evolve before I could finally get it done. And that's the way I'm seeing it. But I cannot remember what you said that made me want to say that. I had to better myself first.
Right.
That's it. We were talking about us first, right? Me first. I had to better myself first within my spirituality and within my practice.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I kept professing, especially during my readings, which I'm going to have to do one pretty soon. I got someone online for a personal reading, but I kept telling people this, especially even with closing like these live streams. I would tell them, I love you all. Take care of yourselves and each other, and then there's the rest. And that's where I think we've lost that somewhere, where we don't take care of ourselves, but we're to your point, we're always thinking about someone somewhere else. And
we're
this
thinking
came up
outside of ourselves instead of starting to think within. Okay, because just like I talk about positive affirmations, right? Because the book is based on spirituality, not just witchcraft, because I am a spiritual practicing witch, right? Matter of fact, I actually talked to my editor before we did this. I called him. I said, when I messaged him, and then he called me. I said, look, I just need to know real quick, because I'm going live in an hour. I'm you don't like the word use guest, but I'm, this guy.
Yeah, you're hanging out.
Yeah, Raven. We're doing like a interview. I said, can you tell me how many books I've sold? So since March, it was available for purchase. It was published March 11th, but then available for purchase March 12th of this year, 2024. And and since then, I sold 44 copies, but 31 of them were sold just in March.
Yeah.
So, I had quite a bit of people waiting on them. I'm trying to push it out there, but I don't want to like bug people, but I try to push it out there. So this, I really appreciate, hopefully, we'll reach some people. Do you mind if I let everybody know where they can find me?
Go right ahead.
All right. So Raven, I'm going to lecture you. You need to find me on Facebook. I know you said you haven't had Facebook since 2012.
I do not have Facebook. And every time I think about joining, they do something I'm like,
you're seriously missing out on Lady Adnor and Solitary Coventry. Seriously, you're missing out. Okay, so everybody knows they can find me on Solitary Coventry's Facebook page. You guys can find me on Gab, Gilded, True Social. I get a lot of shit for that, but I don't care because you can't control me. And then, of course, on Gilded, Solitary Coventry, a Patriot Fellowship. Is that what you call it? A Pagan Patriot Fellowship, Gandalf. Now, a lot of people know that I do Gandalf's newsletters in a podcast. I love bringing his teachings to life for the pagan community. And, he's an elder. He's got more knowledge than I do. He has more years under his, and I learn something from every newsletter I get from him.
He does have a lot of information in those newsletters. They are so just packed full of valuable information.
Now, you want to talk about textbook and history and facts?
Oh,
that's
he's got it.
That's Gandalf. Okay. Now, Gandalf could probably be a religious what do you call them people? Come on, they're professor. Yeah. He teaches like he's a professor. That's Gandalf. And I'm trying to get him to, take his newsletters from say last year, take all those newsletters, put them together and publish it. Sell a book, sell the book, do it. I'm trying to talk him into it, but yes, Crazy Witch, he does awesome newsletters. Yes, he is great. So if anybody would like to get to know Gandalf a little personally, you can, find him in our community on Gilded. He also does Gab. He's talking about getting True Social, but he hasn't got it yet, I don't think. Crazy Witch. It's hard to get a hold of you sometimes. I was actually trying to get Crazy Witch and 3 or 4 other people together so that we could do a book review and then they can ask me questions and then, but I haven't been able to coordinate everybody.
Right.
Mainly because it's nice outside and when I'm in Ohio, when it gets cold, okay, then you'll see me sitting in front of my laptop. But
welcome to the world of like scheduling a tabletop RPG.
Oh my gosh, everyone's in a different time zone. I'm so glad we're in the same time zone.
Yeah.
So glad. But no, so you think, I'm really, really, I'm so happy. It makes me feel so good to know that you decided to start doing an everyday altar. Now, as you grow, your altar is going to change.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're going to evolve and it's going to evolve with you. And you want to put your altar where you can see it. Where you can walk by it because then it reminds you of who you are. It reminds you to practice. So after talking with you tonight, do you think you're Wiccan? Do you think you're a witch? Or you think you're a little bit of both?
Honestly, I don't know, and I'll tell you exactly. I'll tell you exactly why. Because you and I both grew up Gen X.
Yeah.
So we're on that same wavelength. I kind of got to a point where I was comfortable with accepting certain labels. And now I'm like,
the thing. Everybody wants a freaking label. So that's what I want to say. Not trying to label. I'm kind of like, touch base. Where are you?
Now I'm like, you know what? I can't, even though I do have my pantheon here and love them one and all. And the reason I love them and the reason when people ask me about, or ask me about them, or like, why do you follow those particular gods? I'm like, well, because number one, they're flawed. Number two, they reflect some of our best and worst tendencies, but they don't pretend to be perfect.
Well, see, that's the thing. People don't realize that. See. So this is. I don't like to talk political, but they're always saying paganism, like in politics, right?
Yeah.
Christians are the ones doing it. They're all pagan. Pagans, pagans are bad. Pagans this, pagans. It's like, listen, not all pagans are what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And now I just lost track of I'm getting old, sweetheart. I don't even know what see, here it is. That's the thing. People do not realize, okay, whether it's the Christian God, a Roman God, a Norse God, a Celtic God, we're Egyptian God, because we got so many.
Oh, yeah.
Many pantheons, right? There is a good aspect and a bad aspect to each and every god and goddess. Like, okay, so I always teach this as an example. It might be thin teaching, but you know, if you look at Venus and Aphrodite, okay, Venus is the goddess of love.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you flip the coin, you have Aphrodite. Aphrodite is the goddess of lust. So there's two sides to every coin. Does that make sense? Like if I explain it to you that way,
absolutely.
You know, so there's a good side to Venus, you know, and a bad side, just like the Christian God. Okay, if you read my book, the Christian God is a vengeful God. He is not kind. He is not loving. He is vengeful.
Even self-described as a jealous and vengeful God.
Yes, he is a jealous God. Why do you think in the Bible it says, thou shalt not worship any other gods before me? Because he wants to be first.
Right. And
okay,
even,
I'm not speaking.
Even after the commandment of no graven images, the first thing that happens is he does command a graven image of himself.
Yeah.
He describes himself, and it is the form of a serpent.
Yes.
I was like, that blew me away because, you know, I still have a Bible myself that I've had for quite a number of years now.
Oh, hey, I have a Bible that's about this thick, and it talks about spiritual warfare. I haven't read it yet. It's a beautiful book.
And I almost stepped on Bob. Hey, bud. Hang tight. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to show you this. This thing's huge. There you are. Bingo. Oops. All right, here we go.
I love it. Like we both know. Oh yeah. Oh, you should see a book I have that you reminded me
of. This thing, I lost a lot of books in my move. Some of them, to be fair, though, I gave away because I was like, I don't want to pack that much weight. But out of every book that I lost, this was one of the ones I didn't, because I remember I paid, I think, about $40 or $50 for it. So
is that a Bible?
Yeah. Yep.
All right. That's a beautiful. I love it. It's hardbound. Hold on. Let me show you what I got. You might like this, but you can't have it.
Oh, Charlotte, that's a score. That's definitely a score. Totally. And where did you find that?
Did you hear what I said? I said, you're going to like this book, but you can't have it. You will have to go buy it yourself. I don't know where you could get it.
Oh, I've heard of that. Yes. In fact, I knew a guy who lived just down the street from me who had a copy of that.
Every word. This is with Greek and Hebrew. Every word, supposedly, allegedly, that is in the Bible is in here and translated.
Wow. Holy crap.
I mean, look at this book. Like, you can't. I mean, look how big this thing is. Like, I don't know how many pages it has. My ex-husband gave it to me. Yeah, a gift from my ex-husband, January 3rd of 2005.
Wow.
It says general preface. This book, as the title page indicates, consists of several portions, somewhat distinct but mutually related, all having reference to one great object, a thorough verbal index of the Holy Scriptures as they exist in the three most important forms now known to British and American readers and scholars.
Well, they didn't add the word exhaustive for nothing.
Right. But I mean, you can just turn in here and look at find any word and it's there. Like even the word sapphire is in here. You know, because they talk about the crystals and stones. But yeah, when my when my husband gave me this book, I was kind of afraid of it. I was like, "Oh my God, that looks like a demonic book." But not, I don't believe in demons.
Right. Well,
But yeah,
as
no,
I understand it, the word demon was originally Greek, and it meant spirit, and that's all that it meant in its original form.
you might be right. I would have to check that. I don't know.
And here's the thing: the term is still used in computer language today because it does refer to, a part of programming. And here we go. Wow, that must have been, yeah. Okay, so what happened was Charlotte mentioned she found a book on Aphrodite a few days ago. And I was like, where did you find that? She said it was on a bench. And Crazy Witch says, that must have been there just for you, Charlotte. Talk about science symbology. That's cool.
Well,
I've had a couple of those.
What did I say? They will call to you. In my book, I tell you, if you don't know who to work with, they will call to you.
Mm-hmm.
Venus, obviously, Charlotte, you need to work with Venus right now. And, and some gods and goddesses will stay with us permanently. And some will just, come and go. It just, that's what I like about being solitary. Because I don't have to, But anyways, back to a good side and a bad side. All right. So in Christianity, like I said, God is a vengeful God. You know how much blood has been spilled in the name of the Christian God?
And that his orders.
Dark Ages for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But then they had to have a good guy. That's, and I talk about that in my book. And this is where Jesus comes in. So they used to say Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Well, that's three. Now they're evolving and saying, no, that's one. But if you think about it, Christianity is polytheist.
Yeah, definitely.
They're polytheists. And if Jesus is real, then he's a demigod. I mean, I've talked about this before. He's a demigod.
Mm-hmm.
But don't tell any Christians. Don't tell them that.
and like just being able to receive those calls at times has helped. I know it's helped me personally. Just in fact, this happens during my meditations quite a bit, and I never know which one of them to expect. I might be aiming for one, but I'll get one completely different, and the conversations between us are always very, very mind and eye opening, if I can put it that way. But last night I was doing one because I had a rough 6 days at work. I was like, oh man, I need
you were doing a meditation. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I was doing a meditation.
Okay.
And thanks, Child of Ash. Thanks, dude. But I'm sitting there and I'm doing my meditation. I'm really deep into it, and I was looking to contact Frigg again.
Who?
I ended up getting one of her handmaidens.
Freya?
Not Frigg.
Who did?
Odin's wife.
Frigg. Okay.
Yeah. I ended up getting one of her handmaidens, whom during meditations I have met before, and what she told me was like after I came out of it, I went, "Yep, fair." Harsh truth, but fair. But she literally told me, because at one point, Crazy would say, I'm liking the hat too. But
I love it.
She was telling me that, because for a minute there, I'm like, I'm kind of lost, and I really need advice. And that was apparently that was the signal that got sent out. So she's now right there in my one-on-one with me, and she told me, you're not quite doing the work you need to be doing. You can't help heal bodies anymore, but you can be out there healing spirits, and that's what you're good at, and that's what you need to do. And
what is your work? What are you?
At first I was a pharmacy technician. I left that because I started looking at it for what it was. At first it was fascinating. I was really enjoying it. But then I started around the time
you had switched jobs, right? Was that right before you bought my book?
No, I switched jobs after that. So what happened was I started seeing what was going on, especially once the lockdowns and the testing and
Right.
all that started ramping up. And I saw what it was. I was like, I refuse to be part of this anymore. I gotta go. And I got out of there. I have not renewed my license, though. State of New Jersey has sent me a little notice going, hey, you could still renew up to this time. And I'm like, but do I want to?
I would go ahead and do it because you never know.
Yeah, I still might, but there's Eir, spelled EIR. She's sitting in front of me and she's like, you need to be doing this because this is what you do best. And I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. That, yeah, it like I said, it was a harsh truth. It was a gut punch, but I was like, I needed it. And being able to be open to that kind of thing, again, this was part of it. This was definitely part of it. Being able to be open to that kind of communication, because I mean, when I went in, I was feeling a little directionless and lost. I don't feel that anymore.
Good.
That's not part of it anymore.
Pop quiz. You did this to yourself. You read the book. You're doing this to yourself.
I'm doing this to myself.
Listen, you read the book.
Mm-hmm.
You're practicing some of what you've learned. Actually, it seems like you're practicing quite a bit of what you learned in my book, and that just makes me feel so good. I'm so glad that it is helping you and guiding you. Pop quiz. Are you ready?
Yeah.
It's one word answer. To meditate is to blank. One word.
Concentrate. No, shit.
Starts with an L.
Collapse.
Starts with an L. To meditate is to Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. I'm just
okay. Give me another word for hearing.
Listen.
Thank you. That's your answer. To meditate is to listen. Why do you think there's these musical meditations? You're listening, right?
Yep.
There's guided voice meditations. You're listening. And whether you got music going or a guided voice going, you're all you're doing, you're listening. You're trying to settle down your mind and you listen. So to meditate is to listen. So that's what happened when you went into your meditation. You were relaxed enough and open enough to be able to listen and receive the message that you were supposed to receive from your deity or whatever it is that you were focused on. Okay. So that's what everybody needs to remember. To meditate is to listen. If you're not open and receptive, you're not hearing anything. You're not connected spiritually. So, I teach that too in my classes. To meditate is to listen. And they're like, well, what do you mean? And you really can't clear your mind, even though they tell you, okay, clear your mind, don't think about nothing. You just need to settle your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Do some deep breathing, grounding and centering. A lot of people, they don't even know how to ground and center properly. Anyone that I've ever done a workshop with, one-on-one with that, have you tried that technique that's in my book? Have you pre-recorded it in your voice and tried it?
I haven't pre-recorded it, but your technique was the one I did.
You have got to try it. I have done it since 1996. It is amazing. And what you learn through that, it's hypnosis is what it is. And like I said, I've done it since 1996. You would not believe. Yeah, Charlotte's done it. It works.
Yeah.
And if you're already doing something with a meditation, you can add that into it. What you learn in my book, the technique. But you wouldn't believe the people that they just, I'm like, okay, I need you to ground and center for me. I'm going to watch you because I want to make sure you're doing it correctly. And I haven't come across anyone since I've been teaching for 13 years that knows how to ground and center properly. I have to teach them.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't know.
I think when they hear that, they don't know what it means.
Right.
And that's why they're so confused. That's why, again, mark that glossary, y'all, because it's worth it.
Terminology
Take a random business card, just mark that son of a bitch.
Yes. So, I mean, that's amazing. Like, I had no idea that my book has helped you this much.
Oh, it
And
has.
I am so happy to hear that.
Well,
So
when you said you were going to publish one, I was like, I said the line I always say, I'm going to be the first in line.
And you were.
And this time I delivered on that.
Yes, he did. As soon as I told everybody on Gilded that the book was ready to go, I think immediately you messaged me like, I just ordered it. Crazy witch. He says, I'm going to have to pause and go get some evening train. All right. Well, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you,
Thanks
Crazy Witch.
for stopping by. Hope to see you. Catch the replay, and because there will be one. And just real quick, number one, I was not able to get this up on Twitter because Twitter now requires you to have a verified paid account, and StreamYard just informed me of that like minutes before the show. I was like, oh, wow. That's great. So I had to drop that. Second thing, this will be up on YouTube and Rumble, hopefully, because I haven't seen it pop up on Rumble yet, but we are live streaming. So if nothing else, I am going to take this file. I'm giving it to Lady Adnor too, so she can add it to her Rumble. It's going to be up on the Grove of Odin Substack, so definitely come and hang out with us there. And what's this? Here we go. And now, now the word from the Reverend, the Doc, the man, the myth, the legend, Raven of Wolfgar. Joe.
Well, hey, honestly, Raven, it just makes me feel so. I hope that that my book will help others as much as it has you, because that's what it's all about. Yeah. And I had to help myself and get myself in where I needed to be before I could actually evolve and produce the book the way that it should have been produced. So it's amazing. I had no idea, because we don't really talk, right? We've gotten to know each other more personally right here than we ever have. But anybody watching, make sure you find us on Gilded. It's Solitary Coventry on Gilded. I don't know what. Are you on Gab? Look at those.
Gab? No, I'm on Twitter. Mine's speakermindhere.com.
Hey,
what else?
Hey, look at those blue eyes. Why are you having those blue eyes?
Light sensitivity.
Oh my God! Well, mine are too.
So the outside there, I'm seeing street lights. So I'm like, okay, it's pretty much safe. This isn't really going to hurt me because it's LED, so it's not gonna affect me at all.
But your eyes are, I don't know, beautiful.
Thank you.
But yeah, anybody wants to join us, Solitary Coventry Gilded. Raven, I would love for you just to get a Facebook page so you can look. I got almost 50,000 people over on Facebook. Solitary Coventry.
Let's see. I downloaded Gilded, but I don't know how to navigate it. If you're familiar with Discord, it's functionally the same. That's really it.
It took me forever to learn how to use Gilded, and now they want to do the Roblox or whatever, and I have no idea what to do to get through it.
The Roblox thing, as I understand it, that was they have a secure login through Roblox.com. So rather than reconfigure the login for Gilded, they just funneled it through their already secure channel. That way, your account is protected. When I first heard about it, I went, "Oh, come on!" But then when I read into it and got some info from others, I was like, "Okay, that's fine." I
don't even know how to do it. I tried to log into Gilded from my laptop today, and I put in the password and everything, and it kept telling me it wanted to send me a code, and it never sent me a code.
Oh wow!
I tried like 3 times.
All right, fuck you, Joe.
Professional vampire.
Jesus, come on, dude.
But yeah, if anybody's watching, come on, join us on Gilded Solitary Coventry. You can find me on Solitary Coventry's Facebook page. It's the best witchcraft page on the internet. You can buy my book.
Could probably teach me. I hear that one a lot. Gilded is pretty easy to use. It's true. And
I don't know. I'm not. It took
Sid was actually on Gilded. He was on Gilded and he was on Twitter, but He's decided to limit his social media presence because it was negatively impacting him. I'm like, hey, I totally understand.
Hey, I get it. I'm
gonna
on TikTok. I'm on Gilded. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Gab. I'm on just a Gilded, Truth Social.
Gilded.
And I've got, I don't know how many different freaking emails. Oh, guys, you can find me on my website. Become a member for free. Solitary Coventry at wixsite.com/Solitary Coventry. I don't know. This was great. I had no idea that my book helped you so much. I don't even really know what to say. I think that's amazing.
He said, come on, I said you were a professional. I could have said you were a hobo screaming at school children, which would also be true. Get off my lawn! Let's say, I'm on Gilded. This is Brian.
Oh, hi, Brian.
If you're on Twitter, I could probably follow you.
I'm not on Twitter. I don't do no twatter stuff.
And love you. And Charlotte says she loves your blogs.
Oh, thank you, Charlotte. Yeah, Charlotte's been with me for a couple of years. So I'm glad she was able to show up tonight.
And the Gilded group is a lot of fun.
It is.
Like, seriously, it's so much fun.
And what did I tell you when you came? I said, welcome to freedom.
Yep. You were not lying. You were not lying at all.
And I mean, I monitor what goes on in there, but I don't really.
Yeah,
you guys are in there. You do whatever you want to do. But see, here's what happened. What was her name? Bridget?
Yes. I think.
I got on Gilded.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
I got on Gilded to get into her community.
Yeah. Okay. I was in there. Yep.
So I went in there and I invited some of my people to join hers. And then I was inviting her people to join mine. She didn't like that. How the hell are we supposed to build a community if it's okay for me to invite my people to yours, but I can't invite your people to mine? Yep. I'm sorry, what? That's why when I heard about her shutting everything down, I said, well, I wonder why.
Yeah.
So that's, how that happened. And she would never be welcome on my channel if she were to get Gilded back. I mean, I don't know if she's going to, I don't know what she's doing. I don't care. I don't promote anything for her no more. It's, to me, that's just, I don't know. It wasn't right. To me, that wasn't right. That's how I felt. So, how are you supposed to build communities if we can't?
Well, I think the key thing was you can't micromanage it. There's just no way, especially once your group becomes big enough, it's going to operate. And yeah, your vision's still there, but you may have to adjust. And it's like you said, just with my altar alone, that one is going to grow and evolve with me.
Right.
So, when I get into a bigger place, it's probably going to be bigger, and the representations of the gods are probably going to get bigger. But right now, it's a small space, and
that's okay.
Yeah.
What matters is that it's there. You're doing it. You're getting it. You're inspired. You're meditating. You're listening.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you're heeding that call.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's not even meditation that needs to occur. Like that, what you're seeing with that particular photo, which I'll bring up again. But what you're seeing is the top of a shelf. That's it. I literally just dual purposed one thing. I found this, I think
that's what my altar.
Yeah, this is this I found at Hobby Lobby for I think about like $50 to $60, and I took it home, and the guy was looking at it. He was like, "Yeah, a little polyurethane on it, and that thing will look awesome." I was like, I plan to keep it completely natural, and this guy sleeping behind me has used the corner of it for a scratching post. Which
I'm sure cats are highly, highly spiritual.
Yeah, and here's the funny part: this one right here. This is Freya. I took Freya down because he was crawling around this section and mewling. So I took Freya down, and as soon as I did and put her in front of him, he was nudging all over, just doing the little cat nudge thing all over, and then he took her out of my hand.
It wasn't for you.
Rolled over onto his back and just stayed like this. And eventually you just see those eyes do this little number. He's got that little look on his face and he's purring. And I'm like, that's what you wanted.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Well, like I said, cats are highly, they're very spiritual beings. Very,
very much
spiritual.
so, yeah.
And with them being nocturnal, there's a lot of people that believe that cats walk between the worlds.
Yeah, and this one sounds like a typical Plagan on a power trip. That needs a definition. So we were actually discussing this in the Gilded. We referred to
like what happened with build
right.
A community. Yeah,
the people who are in this merely for control, which again, to your point, there's the religion that you follow. There's the practice. So this was. So I think, and this isn't just one person. I've seen this dozens of times where they have an agenda that they want to impose, and now they're going to use this because they honestly believe you'll never question it. And that's not who we are.
Right.
Not at all. As a matter of fact,
like I said, anyone that's come over to Gilded and they bring up that situation, I'm like, just read the pen post and welcome to freedom.
Yep.
And that's why I said that, because of how she did stuff.
Mm-hmm. And your post was like summarized by just don't be a dick. That's it.
Right. Just be nice to each other. That's all I talk about. Whatever you want, do whatever you want. Just be nice to each other. I mean, that's basic. I mean, I don't even know what the pen post says anymore, but it's still there.
Yeah, and Plagan is someone who is adopting paganism for their own agenda. They're not. They could give a crap about the religion. They could give a crap about the religion or the practice. They just want to control you.
She always seemed fake to me. Like I could never get into watching her YouTube. Like she just did not interest me. She didn't catch my interest.
Yeah, I think with some others, they are trying to assign there's all this bending and twisting themselves into pretzels to assign. Just as an example, Loki is the god of transgender and gender fluid people.
No, he should not be. That's a bunch of fucking sorry.
No.
That shit pisses me off. Shit makes me so mad. Listen, I've got a dictionary of gods and goddesses. I've got encyclopedias. Yes, don't be a dick, right? Encyclopedias. None of my books say that the god Loki is transgender. Don't get me started, because they're saying the same thing about Odin.
Oh, I've heard that a time or two and went, this was my exact expression. I'm looking at it and I'm going.
Even Google is saying it.
Google would.
Well, yeah, they're in on it.
Yep, Google would.
But it's because of people like that is why Christianity or Christians attack and put all pagans in the same lump. And we're not like that.
Oh, Joe is right. You have sex with one horse. It reminds
let me put it this way, because I've said this before.
That's a great punchline.
Okay, if someone was practicing shamanism, what is one of the main elements of shamanism?
Oh man, fuck. For me, it's stories, but that's just me.
Hold on, I totally lost. I know the answer. That's why I asked the question. Shape-shifting is one of the main elements in shamanism. So because shamans practice shape-shifting, does that mean they're transgender? No. There's a big difference between shape shifting and transitioning. You all right over there, buddy? You okay?
I had to check, make sure it was still there.
Okay, so do you understand what I'm saying? So Odin shape shifted.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying, or I'm sorry, Loki shape shifted.
Yeah.
Odin is a sponge. Okay, Odin seeks knowledge. That's all he wants. Knowledge. Give me the knowledge. Give me the knowledge. So he will do whatever he needs to do to gain knowledge. Okay,
Including
because knowledge is power. Knowledge, but applied knowledge is the ultimate power. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't apply it, where's your power? You have to apply that knowledge. Okay. So Odin, right? He went into the garden dressed as a woman to gain knowledge of herbs and spice, all that's what he did. Okay. Because he dressed as a woman, it was a disguise. It wasn't a transition.
Nope.
There's a big difference between shape-shifting and a disguise.
And what Loki does is shape-shifting quite a bit. Right. Because he was the old woman who wouldn't weep for Balder. He was the horse that lured the builder's horse away. Came back 9 months later with a son named Sleipnir. So
that's how you say it. Yes.
And he literally gave his son to Odin, and he's had. Well, let's just face it. Loki's got a little baby mama drama going on because not all of his. Let's just put it this way: he was not monogamous, and he's got many children, including Hel, the goddess, spelled with one L. And then there's Jormungandr, who the world serpent. That's also one of his children, and Fenrir. Just to name 3.
Okay, but the point is, shape shifting and dressing up in a disguise is total opposite of transitioning.
Correct. Yeah.
I have a new student that's been with me for about maybe 3 or 4 months, and he found me on Solitary Coventry's Facebook page. He had made a comment on some post that he needed help, guidance with something. I can't remember what it was. So I messaged him and we started talking, and he booked an hour session with me, and we talked. He's out in Oregon, extremely blue state. Okay.
Definitely.
Out in Oregon. And he was hanging out with these pagans and, spending time with this big group of pagans. And, he says, I'm not going to say his name, but he says, he's like, I just feel really weird. I don't know what to do. They told me that, he's like, I really want to connect with the goddess, but I don't want to transition. I said, what do you mean? He said, they told me that I would have to transition into a woman, into a female, in order to connect with the goddess. I said, no, honey, that's not true. I said, if you want to connect with the goddess, just go outside in nature. Just meditate. You do not have to change your biology to connect with a feminine deity or a masculine deity.
Not at all.
The gods definitely put him in my path for a reason.
Yeah. And I think personally, if anyone had ever told me that, I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to get right on top of that. And they'd never see me again.
Well, right.
Never see me
that's
again.
what I told him. He says, well, I did a ritual with them and it just didn't feel right. I said, listen, whenever it doesn't feel right, you leave. Mm-hmm. No, I'm no pagan, but even I know that's not how it works.
Not at all. Also, how the heck can you advocate for the spirit of humanity without recognizing man and woman are only at their best when they're joined equally?
He's like, boom. But really, and it's sad because now I said this in my last podcast. They really need to be careful who they're learning from.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sometimes, yeah, my teachings are thin, but you know what? You want the real deal? Take a class, buy my book, take a workshop, talk to me. Let's talk one-on-one. I do a lot. Most of my stuff is a workshop, and we do it live. We do it together. Like, it's not, sometimes I record it with their permission and I'll put it up on Rumble, right?
Yeah.
Or Solitary Coventry's Facebook page. But usually that's just for a special event or something, right? And if they all agree, then I'm okay with that. I do the terminology workshops for a reason. People, you really need to very careful who you're learning from. Okay, very, very careful. We don't believe pagans, real pagans. We don't believe in demons. Okay, our gods and goddesses were demonized by the church. That's the only reason they have the label of a demon. So if you're out there and you're working with demons, you're not a witch. Witches don't work with demons. Like, I got these demonology books. I haven't read them, and now I don't want them because reality hit me, not too long ago. But we do, right? We do recognize that there is good and evil in the world. But we don't label it as the devil or Satan because we know we are accountable for our own actions. We don't have a devil to blame.
Right.
Hey, that's Christianity's loophole. Oh, the devil made him do it. Oh, the devil is running the world. The only reason the devil exists in their reality is because they manifested him. That's how anything comes into reality. You manifest it.
Yeah, and I think they often forget that the term Satan comes from a Hebrew word meaning adversary or accuser.
Adversary, yes, yep.
And even accuser.
Adversary, so that's why they chose that word.
And here we go again. I got a little confirmation of my previous point because Josh here says demons. That's the Greek word, and I'm only pronouncing it that way because that's what I'm used to. Demons are spirits. Demons are Christian spirits. And I mean, demon is derived from a Greek word for demos, yes, which represent both positive and negative passions. Other cultures in pagan imagery don't have demons as an objective sense. And here we go. Adversary or opposer.
Yes, that's the right one right there. Yes. But see, that's all related to Christianity.
Mm-hmm. Has nothing to do with us.
Nothing.
Not at all.
Nothing. And you know what they'll tell you? Well, the devil's greatest trick is making you believe that he isn't real. Maybe the devil's greatest trick is making you believe that he's real. Or
maybe next time don't get your best lines from a movie. Just a thought, I've seen The Usual Suspects, just saying. And let's see, here we go. That was my last article's topic. It was, as a matter of fact. Let me go. This one. The topic, this was what Josh posted earlier. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but we're going to view that post.
Yeah, let's check it out.
I'm so glad he brought it up because this does, like, he does some awesome writing work here. It's pagans are not, or Satanists are not pagans, and I think that's the other way around as well. Two common definitions for pagan, neither one of them remotely alludes to opposing a Christian belief system. So he says the pagan folks are traditionally a conservative group. We believe in law and order, property rights, individual freedom. And most modern pagan folk do promote family, community, and upholding ancestral traditions. Some of the most fundamental pagan beliefs by far predate Christianity. The pantheon I honor are spoken of among the Norse Germanic sagas. They are historical figures that walked among their followers. Their names are in multiple kings' books in Europe. They are still declared to be their ancestors. They were the heroes and kings who descended from the ancestral lines of the Aesir Jotun. There is no pro-Jesus nor anti-Jesus aspect to it. Christianity and Catholicism are not even mentioned. And he does go on, and I did read this because I remember getting to, we have a valid victim card, but we don't use it. And then there was this, paganism is a lifestyle.
Yeah, I'm reading that. Now listen, let me interrupt you real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
What people don't realize, paganism itself is not a religion. Okay, paganism is not a religion. The word pagan, or the word paganism, and I talk about this in my book, it is an umbrella term. Okay, you got an umbrella, right? You're out in the rain, your umbrella's open. You got all these points on this umbrella. And all of these points, and then some, are filled in around this umbrella. Okay? Because it's not Christian. So paganism, or pagan, is a word or term used to describe persons and religions that are not related to Christianity. Because what do you got? You got Baptist, Pentecostal, Lutheran, Catholics. You got all of these branches of Christianity. But they're cool, right? Because they're all right. All of them, they're the right way. This is the way. Yeah. Right? But us, people like us, whether you're Buddhist, Hindu, Wiccan, witch, what else we got? Shaman, a Rick A healer, anybody, all right, outside of all of these branches of Christianity is considered paganism.
Right. Yeah. I mean, even right here from circa 1400, mid 14th century, person of non-Christian or Jewish faith, that's the latest definition. From the late Latin, paganus, pagan in classical Latin meant villager, rustic, civilian, non-combatant. Also, country people, province, rural district. So we still have pagans today.
Yes.
They're living in rural areas.
The word pagan literally means country dweller.
Exactly.
And how did it get that definition? Because when they came to do the witch trials, everybody fled to the countryside so that they would not be killed. They went and hid. They went and fled to the countryside instead of being in the community, right? The within the community. They left. They went to the countryside to live. I don't know how to say that word. R-U-A-L. Or R-U, yeah. R-U-R-A-L. Out in the country. Yeah. Okay, so the word pagan literally means country dweller.
And this is why it's important to understand that a heathen is someone who doesn't know Christendom, and apostate is someone who denies Christendom but is non-confrontational. That's true. Heretics are adversarial to Christendom or Christendom. These are important definitions. I wholeheartedly agree.
Yes, 100%. I agree too. This is nice. Where can I find this?
This is actually the Grove of Odin page. This is where I'm going to be posting this a little later. So this is right up in here.
Because I just do Facebook.
It's on Substack. The Grove of Odin.substack.com.
I don't do that.
And there it is. So my articles go up in here as well. In fact, my last one was Letting Go. And honestly, I wrote that. Here's the weird part. I wrote this one, Letting Go, before I did my meditation, because for some reason, I can't remember exactly what it was now. I'd have to go back and read this. This is an Eight of Cups. This came up. I'm not kidding. I was in the shower and I was trying to think of a way to address all the stuff in my news feed that was just ticking me off. And then I realized this came up, this image, and I was like, I don't have to. I can let that go.
Good.
Because quite frankly, I've already said my piece on it. Everyone knows exactly what I think about it. I don't have to. I don't have to offer my 2 cents because I've already done it. And I think that was
no explanation to anyone.
Exactly. And then this wasn't just for that thing. I realized this was, the groups I'd been part of, yeah, I had to let those go because again, we weren't we weren't we weren't kind of gelling. So I was like, okay, time to just kind of mosey on. I'm pretty sure some of those groups won't have me back, and that's okay because I'm not beating down their
Hey,
door.
something just came to me
Mm-hmm.
for you.
Yeah,
I don't know if you're doing it already or not, but if you're not doing it, may I suggest something? Because it's just kind of like I'm supposed to tell you kind of thing.
absolutely. Go ahead.
So I guess I have a message for you
Mm-hmm.
from out here. I feel that maybe you should do pull one card a day, and when you pull that card, lay it on your altar until you pull the next card on the next day.
There we go. Okay, yeah, I can do
I'm
that.
sorry, it just came to me.
No,
I'm reading you. I do
no,
that sometimes. I read people
that's a
without
great.
meaning
It's
something.
something I had not considered. And yeah,
I
I think
feel
you're
this
absolutely
is
100% right.
I feel that you should start doing this, adding this to your morning practice. Okay, do your
Definitely.
cards, pull a card, make sure you're open-minded when you read it, because we can influence what we want to hear. So you have to
Yeah,
really, get relaxed and be open. I also teach people how to read tarot cards too, and I can also certify people as a reader. And then your second course would be you would be certified as a tarot master. So just get in touch with me if you guys want to do that. But I'm sorry, something just I had to
I
tell you.
just might. I just
I
might.
had to tell you. I mean, like it was like a vision. Like I
Yeah,
could see you standing at your altar. You got your cards. You got your candles lit. You're doing your card. You pull a card and you read your card. But I feel you should leave it lay on your altar until you do it again the next day, or until you feel like you need to do a card again.
yeah.
So I think you might
I
get a little more insight from it.
I used to do Rune of the Week, and I would do these short videos like Tarot card of the day, Oracle card of the day, Rune of the Week, stuff like that. And
Thank you,
I'm
Charlotte.
still I'm
Sorry.
still doing Rune of the Week, and I'll mark it up on my whiteboard over here and just keep it there during the week. But I never thought to, and that's the weird thing is my tarot cards are right there,
Yeah.
every deck. So I never thought to actually just pull a card, put it up there, and just kind of focus on it for a few.
Right.
I'm definitely going to
But
be doing that.
leave it there until
Yeah.
you feel, whether it's the next day or say a week later. Leave it
I've got
there.
so many tarot decks. I can leave it there full day.
Yeah. I
That
mean, because it
that's
would,
something.
I feel that it would benefit you more and you would get more out of it
Mm-hmm.
spiritually.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. I'm definitely open to that. And Charlotte says I've been read by Lady Adnor, and it's true. And then
Yeah.
I do
It's pretty
astrology for
good.
my day too. I should probably do that. It
Yeah,
would
my thing
might
is,
eliminate some unexpected stuff.
I'm not real big on astrology. It's never been like my mind just, because we're all on different paths, right? Just like herbs, I thought about getting into herbs and stuff, and oh my God, just to me it was too expensive. And then I discovered candle magic, and so candle magic is my specialty. I do have a class for that too, or workshop, whatever you want to call it. I always whether the spell called for it or not, I always wanted to add a candle. Something just told me, right? So then
Yeah.
that's how I realized, okay, I need to be doing candle magic, because for some reason I'm always wanting. And what's crazy is I'm a Capricorn, so candle magic, which I guess would kind of make sense, right? Capricorn's in the north, and then candle magic, we got it. We're lined
Yep,
up. So
got that direction. Yeah.
yeah, if you look at it that way. But no, wow, I had no idea. Was you just saving it for this interview to tell me how much my book has helped you? Because you never told me.
I was definitely saving this because I was like, I wanted this to be a surprise. And
Well, it was, because you got a hold of me last week. You're like, hey, you want to? I'm like, hell yeah,
yeah,
let's do it.
I was like, I've got nothing to do. I know if I plan a solo game, someone else is going to have other plans. I know I got a little bit of stuff to run out for. Let me go do that, and then I can do this, and this will be like, this is just, it's not really my ultimate review, but I was like, let's have a conversation about this because this book is absolutely fascinating, and it was
Oh
like,
my God,
it was
thank
blowing my
you.
mind.
Like,
It was
I want
blowing
to
my
cry.
mind.
I want to cry. That is so awesome.
This is
And not
definitely
only
one of
that,
my.
look, I read you tonight. You know, you got a free reading.
You did, and then on top of that, something else you don't know about this. The reason is kind of like it's getting a little beat up, but I do carry this with me every day, everywhere.
You
So
do?
this is one of my books that I got a bag over there. I take it everywhere with me. It has a deck of tarot cards, has a set of runes. It has my minister's manual. It has my Kindle, and then it has this as well and a notebook. So I can make notes wherever I'm at. If I can break down and get a good purpose.
That's why I said my paperback is, I mean, you look, it's even bent right here. I've been using my own book, okay?
Yep.
But then I bought the hard copy, you know, so it stays really nice. And really, mark your books up. Mark your books up, right? People will say, "Oh, don't do that. You need to blah blah blah." Now, listen, I treat my books like a Christian treats a Bible.
Yep.
You don't set nothing on top of it. You don't get it dirty, and it sets in a specific spot. You don't touch it.
That's true. I'm the same way.
You know, I mean, that's how I grew up. But you know, this is just.
I'll put it this way: that advice is really good if it's a role playing game book like this one.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, I got this and the Dark Crystal. They're pretty awesome. The best part is when you take the dust jacket off. Looks like the cover. It looks like the book that Jennifer Connelly was carrying in the movie.
I like that.
Got a little oubliette for dice, which comes with it. So you're pretty much set for life. And this was written by Ben Milton over at Questing Beast, and I enjoyed it because I love the movie. So
you know what?
You get all the benefits without David Bowie's package.
I read a section in my book. I recorded it and I put it up on TikTok.
Yeah.
And it was about the pentagram. Remember we talked about it. It was once used as a symbol to represent the 5 wounds of Christ.
Yeah.
But I talked about it, and it ended up being about 10 minutes long. And TikTok, it's muted. It's there. You can see me talking, but you can't hear it.
Oh, that stinks.
I'm like, what the fuck? Are you like, this is history. This is facts.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, they muted it. For some reason, you can't hear it.
A little crazy lately.
Huh?
I said I've heard TikTok's been going a little crazy lately.
I mean, the only reason I ended up getting on TikTok just to push the book.
Yeah.
So.
And just says, Raven, pagan tabletop RPG campaign on stream when? Boy.
What is he talking about?
Okay, TTRPG, tabletop RPG. So, like the book I showed you is a tabletop role-playing game. With tabletop role-playing games, I've got a couple, and I've shown this off in your server too. The Castles and Crusades Codex series, in my opinion, after reading them, these are some of the most well-researched and respectful settings and information. I used Codex Germania in my 1,000-year-old vampire game, which I posted in story form.
I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
Hold on, I'll grab a couple of them.
I'm like, what is this guy talking about?
Okay, so here we go. I'm going to grab. There you are. Come here. Get out of there. Come on. There we go. Got one of them. Here we go. So we actually, you know what? I'm just going to pull every one of them. I'm going to pull that whole stack of books here. Here we go. All right, so I hope you're ready for this. This is for a game called Castles and Crusades. If you're familiar with Dungeons and Dragons,
this I used to watch the cartoon.
Right, I did too. The way it works is you have one person who describes the scenario. That's the dungeon master, or in this case, castle keeper.
Okay.
And you have a character sheet. You've built a character, and you tell. We'll go around the table. You tell me how your character responds to that situation. And you could face monsters. You could face dragons. You could face any number of things. And then I've got these guys like Codex Germania, which is
Nice.
that one's self-explanatory. It just has one big misprint on the back. It says Codex Slavorum, which I'm like, that's not what this is.
Well,
But,
there's a lot of misprints in my book too.
so there's Codex Germania, which I used for a game called Thousand Year Old Vampire, which that one's a solo journaling game, which is a lot of fun. There's Codex Nordica. There's Codex Classicum, which is your Greek. This is actually Codex Slavorum, which is your Slavic deities and stuff like that. Remember you said Egyptian gods? Yes, those make an appearance here.
Wow.
And then I've also got Codex Sinarum. And then this one is Gods and Legends, which is a summary of just about all of them. But there's one more, and I think you're going to love this one. And I think Brian Young and the crew at Troll Lord Games did such a wonderful job on them. I was just going to stop at Germania and Nordica, but I was like, nah, I kind of need them all. They did such good work with these. I have to have every one of them. And this one is by far the biggest of the bunch. Codex Keltarum.
Wow. Look at
And
that.
like I said, it's the biggest of the bunch. It's beefy. And these are all of your Celtic gods, the land, the history, all that stuff
That is
here.
awesome.
And the reason I picked these up, and I also have another game called Rune Cairn, which was written by.
These books, right? They're like accurate.
They're accurate
Information.
100%. There may have been like a couple of nitpicks. I just wanted to know what Brian's sources were, but at the same time, I was like, it still tracks. It's just a minor little nitpick here or there, and none of them deal breakers. But
Right.
I've got another one called Rune Cairn, which it's a game that Colin Lasser made based on the rules of a game called Cairn, which is like 20 to 30 pages of rules. It's not much. In fact, I'm running a Cairn game like right now. I just got to get
your eyes are just
they're blowing your mind right now.
but they're beautiful.
Thank you.
I'm like,
so these games,
I'm listening.
These games all kind of run the same way, but the reason I got these games was because I was like, okay, if number one, if I ever have children or parents who trust me with their children, or even pagan parents, this is a great way to learn about those different pantheons.
I've had some people ask me if I could recommend anything for children.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, so I want to do something small for that because I taught my children.
Yeah.
So if I can teach them, I can write it, right? I mean, they're older now, but my daughter was like 4 years old and she knew how to read the moon by sight because
Whoa.
I taught her. And it just got to the point, I would ask her and she's like, Mom, I'm like, I just want to know if you know.
Yeah.
And she would get it right every time. It just got to the point where she got tired of me asking her. Pop quiz, but yeah, she, and then my son, sometimes my mother would keep him overnight because I work nights. And she would take him to church on Sunday, right? He'd stay Saturday night and go to church with her the next morning so I could sleep in.
Mm-hmm.
And people were like, well, doesn't that, doesn't that piss you off that your mother's taking him to church? I said, no, because he can learn that and he can learn from me and then he can decide on his own.
Yeah.
So again, welcome to freedom, right? Because I'm not like that. I'm not trying to control nobody. I'm not trying to, censor anyone. So, my son is definitely pagan. He doesn't practice anything or follow anything. But I do know that my magical trunk full of herbs and hair and candles and essential oils and incense, just all the things that a witch collects. And it was so funny because I don't know, I was getting into it one day and my son was walking by and he says, "You scare me when you start doing that stuff." He was still in high, like early 8th, 9th grade, 10th grade. And then my daughter, her grandparents, right? Because my kids have two different dads. Her grandparents were taking her to church because she was already learning what I was teaching her. And I was asked the same question: "Doesn't that piss you off?" No, it doesn't make me mad. My daughter can decide on her own. She can learn that, and she can learn this. If she wants to learn something else, she can learn something else. That's fine. But ultimately, it is up to her what feels right for her. And that's really what it's all about.
Right.
So you're Norse.
Where she feels at home, yeah.
Yeah, and that specific pantheon feels good to you. It feels right for you, what's in here.
Right.
Okay. And if you don't follow what feels right for you, you're going to be off balance.
You're going to, yeah. And it's going to affect every possible part of your life.
Right. Not just your practice, your everyday life. And that's really the core of this book.
Yeah.
Teaching you how to make it a way of life. There's so many people, oh yeah, this. And then when you ask them, they're like, I'm like, well, I thought you said, if you're not practicing and putting it into your everyday life, then you're not it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to live it.
That's something we came across in the tribe was we have a new member, and the first thing out of their mouths was, "Can anyone teach me how to be a pagan?" And it's like,
I know. People are like, "I want to be a witch. How do I become a witch?" I'm like, you don't become. You just are.
Yeah.
It's like an awakening.
Yeah.
Right? If you're seeking it out and you want to know.
Yep. It's that thing that, like, I keep telling people, we don't say these things to be exclusive. Like, we're not calling you a poser by telling you the things that we're telling you. We're telling you the things that we're telling you because they're going to be absolutely crucial to your life. It's not this isn't a t-shirt to put on, it's not a piece of jewelry.
I mean, I can walk around wearing Solitary Coventry all day long.
Yeah.
But if I don't live it, I'm not it.
I like this.
I am it. Like, Solitary Coventry is everywhere.
Harry Potter was a mistake. I don't know that it was. It's a fantasy.
Harry Potter. I don't like Harry Potter. I couldn't even watch the movies. My son loves. My son has all the DVDs and all the books.
I'm the same. I have all the DVDs, but none of the books.
Harry Potter did nothing for me, though. I just couldn't get into it.
No, I liked it. I thought it had a charm to it, and as the movies go on later in the series, they get darker, they get heavier, and you see these kids grow up. And they like Neville Longbottom at the first of the series. He's a kind of a bumbling idiot, and then by the end of it, he's just this badass. And I'm like, you kind of look at Neville Longbottom and you gain a respect for him as a character, but obviously not real life.
Right,
doesn't work that way. Never was. But back to your point about teaching children. I argue that one of the things that children learn the most from is play. And
oh my God, you're in my head, because I was just thinking about teaching them how to make the corn dolly.
Yeah. And
I shit you not. Dude, we are in sync.
And on top of that, like if I have a group of kids, we'll say like, preteen to, teenagers, and they want to know about this stuff just to know about it. That's where I would kind of draw that line. If you're in this just to know about it and have an adventure in it, that's what we're here for. If it's like something that either we're doing in Solitary Coventry or we're doing in the tribe, especially with the tribe's kids, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna pull out Codex Germania, Codex Nordica. I'm gonna be like, we're gonna learn this first.
Right.
This is how I'm gonna teach you, and then you will see you will see some element of yourself. You will actually get to kind of live out the lives of your ancestors. That's what's going to make this fun. Rather than me boring you with dates and, just antiseptic history, I'm going to let you play around in it. I'm glad
I didn't I went heavy with history, but I could have went heavier.
Yeah.
But I just got straight to the point and to the core of it.
Yeah. Cut right to the face.
If I was to do all of the history of that, the book would be this fucking thick. Just history and facts. But no, I understand what you're saying. So, well, is there anything else we need to do? We've been here for like 2 hours.
That's the typical length of one of these shows.
Well, that's good. But, that's okay. I just have dogs and birds that need attention right now.
Okay, so I've always heard the vague argument, introduce children to things like magic or Latin or what have you. And all it introduced them was wearing robes and asking, so when can I cast a Patronus, rather than real dedication to the craft. That is kind of true. I'll say this, my biggest struggle when I first delved into paganism was, again, Buckland's Big Blue and a few other books were sitting on my shelf. And I'm not kidding. I would have people coming in asking me questions that were derived from the movie The Craft. And I'm like, not how we work, bud. That's a movie. That is
Hollywood. And see, that's the problem. Hollywood and Christianity are seriously demonizing us. Like, it's not like that. I'm sorry. I would give anything if I could cast a spell and it would just fucking do it like it does in the movies.
It just,
I wish I had that kind of power. It doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. So anyways, guys, I recommend the hardbound for sure, just because you can keep it really nice. And it is a bigger book. It is a little bit bigger. All right. The paper of the softbound, it would be a great book to carry with you. I had no idea you did that. It would be a great book to mark up or highlight or mark pages. Listen, I marked my own pages. I got 2 places marked in my own book. Okay. I've read it twice. I wrote it more than once. Right. But I do. I'm very proud to say that I'm 52 years old and I finally made something of myself. I finally did something, It's kind of how I feel. Again, it's got 9 reviews. It's got 9 reviews. All of them are 5-star. It's actually global reviews, which is absolutely amazing. I sold a total of 44 copies since March 12th of this year, 2024. So anybody you guys are more than welcome to find me on Pagan's Rumble channel, Solitary Coventry's Facebook page, Gab, Gilded Solitary Coventry, and True Social, and my website, which is I'm everywhere. You can find me on TikTok, Lady Adnor. Website is Solitary Coventry.
.wixsite.com.
Yes. Solitary Coventry at wixsite.com/Solitary Coventry, and you become a member for free. And I got all of my credentials that are listed on there, and I just kind of do blogs, real short blogs, maybe once a month, sometimes twice a month. So you're not going to get blown up with the website. If you come over to Solitary Coventry's Facebook page, that would be great. I have almost 50,000 people over there. Raven, you really need to just get Facebook so you can be friends with me on Facebook and you can be on Solitary Coventry's Facebook page. It would be great. Anybody, hey, I know there's people watching. Do you guys agree he should at least get on Solitary Coventry's Facebook page? Listen, the only reason I ended up getting Facebook was my son, right? Before he went in 2009. He was like, oh, Mom, you got to get Facebook. So I've had Facebook since 2009.
I think that the main reason I got rid of Facebook was because, and I'm going to share this while I say it, because I do want to end on this. Here we go. Share that sucker. There we go. Yeah.
Oh, you found my website.
Yes, I did.
Look at there.
There it
so
is.
I get the right address.
I've always found the term life coach to be kind of funny because I was like, this is just that stupid part of me. It gets to thinking because my mind won't shut up. I'm like, have they been through this before? Because they must have played this game before if they're coaching me through it. It's just one of those things I thought of and never really took it seriously. But there it is. That's the the website.
The life coaching. Okay, I'm a certified happiness life coach.
Yeah.
We've all been through a lot. I don't know if you watched my summer solstice event or not.
What was it?
My summer solstice event. It's up on Rumble.
Okay, I'll have to look at that one.
Yeah, really good. I mean, it got over 4,000 views on Solitary Coventry's Facebook page. Damn. But we did it live. I was asked to be a guest speaker at a goddess gathering event for the summer solstice, and I also did right after I did my speech, we did a live book signing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what the hell I was going to say, sweetheart.
I do want to put
the life coaching.
Yeah.
I have incorporated what I learned for myself to help me be happy. Okay, so if you get this, you do the pause. Okay, there's positive affirmations in here. I talk about earthing. I talk about your everyday altar. Put this book. If you cannot figure out how to incorporate everything into your everyday life, this is the book for you.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I don't trust Facebook either, sweetheart, but I can't leave 50,000 people behind. I can't do it. I can't. And actually, it's more than that because Solitary Coventry's Facebook page is almost at 50,000 people. And then I have a profile page and I have almost 2,000 followers. I mean, it's not a whole lot, but it is something to say. But anyways, I've worked very hard on myself. I've been through a lot. Everybody's been through a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I used to live in survival mode. I don't live in survival mode anymore. And I talk about that in this book. If you're living in survival mode, this book will help you to get out of that mode. Instead, you're going to live you're going to find a balance in your life. You're going to heal. And I didn't go get certified as a happiness life coach until after I figured out how to make myself happy. Because there we go again. Put you first. I had to put me first in order to produce this book. Yep. When I started in 2004, apparently I wasn't putting myself first. When I wrote it 10, 13 years ago, apparently I wasn't putting myself first. Now I've grown. I've put myself first, and now I have this.
And you have a sentiment on here that echoes one that I just made in that post letting go. You said, this journey will not be easy, but we must forget the past, let go of the things we cannot change. We must forgive ourselves and forgive others, set boundaries, and in doing so, many things that people will fall away from our lives because they aren't good for our well-being, but we must accept it and push forward. Mm-hmm. Simple, direct, honest.
Good website. So, I've coached a few people. Hopefully they're doing well. A lot of that, like I said, is in here in my book. I teach you how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And people laugh. They're like, oh yeah, I know how to do positive affirmations. And then I kind of question them on it and they don't get it right.
Yeah, this isn't the Stuart Smalley kind of thing.
You cannot have a negative word in your affirmation. It's like when you read tarot cards. You can't ask two questions in one.
Mm-hmm.
So when I read, if I was to read for you, Raven, I would say, okay, what is the most important thing that's weighing on your mind?
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to focus on that. Okay, let's focus on that. Let's ask a question. Straightforward and to the point. It's the same with positive affirmations. Straightforward, to the point, no negative wording. You can't sit there and say, I am not sick. I am not sick. Why? Because the word sick alone brings harmful to you. And that's what's in the book. I say negative. And I even talk about it in the book. You may be wondering why I chose to use the word harmful rather than negative. We need negative energies in order for anything and everything to function properly. Your cell phone.
Yep.
Your cell phone, look, where you plug it in, that's your female part. Is it not?
Yep.
Then you got the male part. Boom. Positive and a negative. Your car battery, positive and a negative. The ley lines on our earth, right? The earth. She needs negative and positive. So when you're banishing something, you shouldn't say negative. You don't want to banish negative energy. You want to banish harmful.
Harmful. Right.
Harmful. Wording is everything.
Yep. Words mean things.
Wording is everything. Words cast spells. That's why it's called spelling. Wording is everything. Listen, when you talk to someone, you listen to their wording.
Mm-hmm.
Do you not?
Yep.
So if you're getting in an argument with your spouse and he's like, blah, 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 his wording is what got you. Like, what the fuck you saying that for? You know what I'm saying? Yep. Wording is everything, and it all begins in the mind. You change your mind, you change your life. It's not easy. It is not easy, especially if you're dealing with something where you feel stuck or you feel like, okay, this is it. Okay. Wording is everything. Just like, abracadabra, that means I will, what's it say? I'd have to look it up. It's in the book.
I will create or I will produce.
Well, are you going to create or destroy?
Mm.
Okay, so abracadabra, I would create what I speak or as I speak. And then the other one, which is the opposite, which I don't know how to pronounce. So it's in the book. Do you want to create or destroy? It's all a matter of words. That's it. If I sit there and I look at my husband, I think, you asshole, guess what? He's an asshole.
Right.
Right. You took those glasses off and I'm like, hello. but you see, the energy's good.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at somebody else and you're judging them and you're thinking these things and then you talk shit about them, I mean, what do you think is going to happen? It's wording is it's everything. And what's hard though, the reason, why it's hard, because you think it and you speak it at the same time. It's simultaneous.
Yeah.
Is it not?
Yeah, that's why they say, watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words because they become your actions.
Well, right. If I'm saying you're a fucking asshole, I thought it and I spoke it at the same exact time. It's spontaneous.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard to control your thoughts because they come in so quick. And if you're not careful, they leave your mouth. Boom, there it goes.
Yep. Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
I get in trouble too. I mean, I'm not perfect, but like I said, I've come a long way in my life. I've lived through a lot. I've been through a lot. There was a few things that I thought was going to break me, and it actually did break me. And I don't know how I got out of where I was at, but I did. And I found some peace in my life. I found some happiness. And, everybody looks out here. Oh, this will make me happy. That'll make, and they're looking at, no. You start in here. You start up here. Happiness isn't out there. Happiness is in here. Once you find it in here, then it's out here.
Yeah, it's like these people that I've run into, and this happens mostly with men younger than me by like 20 years. They ask me if I listen to Andrew Tate, and I'm like, no.
Don't know.
They're like, why? I'm like, most of what I see from him is him screaming, stop being poor, and why aren't you rich? And my response to both is, stop being unhappy, and why aren't you happy? Because it's obvious he's not happy, even as much money and all the stuff that he shows off, all that he supposedly, allegedly has, the guy isn't happy. It's just, it's like he's on this like rage train that just isn't stopping anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't know who he is, but
consider yourself very blessed in that.
Okay, well, blessed be to that. All right, sweetheart. I got dogs and birds. So,
All right.
what else
Well,
is there anything you
thank
need to
you so
close
much for
with?
coming on. I
Oh,
would
no.
love to do this again sometime. And
Yes.
anytime you're ready, just let me know.
No. You listen. I've lost my drive for doing podcast. I mean, I used to go live, do podcasts 2-3 times a week, and now I'm done to down to once a month or whenever I get Gandalf's newsletter because I just kind of lost my inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep telling people, okay, what do you want to hear? What do you want me to talk about? What do you want me to do? Somebody help me. Tell me, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
So when you were like, hey, you want to do a podcast? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So anytime, let me know. I'm game for it.
I'll definitely do that.
Yeah.
So,
and oh my God, may the Lord and Lady forever always be in your favor. And I am so, I can't believe that I've helped you this much. Like you never told me until now.
Yep.
So
I was definitely saving it for this moment.
Well, it was been really nice talking, like getting to know you on a, because I mean, we don't really, none of us over on Gilded, we don't really know each other, right? We just spit out whatever and then we talk about it. That's kind of all it is over there. Facebook, I get more personal with people, Gilded, you're free to talk about whatever you want. Just be nice to each other. That's really all I ask, right? You know that. Like I said, welcome to freedom. And it's the same thing on Solitary Coventry, Facebook. The only people I ban are the scammers. That's it. Somebody wants to jump on there and start talking shit, that's fine. You know why? Because you're just going to bring more attention to that post. I'm going to get more followers. Say whatever the fuck you want to say. But the ones that are like, trying to spam or scam people, they're the ones that get banned.
Yep. And we haven't seen many of those yet. Definitely haven't seen many of those. But I'm going to go ahead and let you get to your family members. And there's one right now.
Yeah, my Doberman.
And give the Doberman a big kiss and a hug from me, and just let her know I am still lighting the candle on the altar for her.
Yes, I will. She's doing a lot better.
Is she?
Really is. Yeah, she hasn't had a head. Okay. Mama's working. She hasn't had to have a shockwave treatment in 2 months.
Oh, nice.
For her herniated disc. Yeah. So she is losing muscle mass, but it's turning into fat. So she's actually gaining weight.
Okay.
But it's not good that she's been diagnosed. Hey, Mama's working. Mama's working. I know. Hold on one second. Let me see.
Like me.
Yeah, see, she'll come in here and say hi. I just got to watch her with the bird. Come here. Come on. Let's go. Come on. Come on. Yeah. Come here. You want to say hi to Raven? Come here, Malik. Come here, baby. Come here. Come here, baby. Look. Come here. She's
like, nope.
She's a big baby. Come here, beauty. Come
She's
here.
like, nope.
Come on. Come on. There she is. There she is.
How peppers? How people?
I love you. Raven's been doing some healing for you. So I'm saying, thank you. It's been working. Now the bird's talking. He says, hi, baby.
We know it is our four-legged masters. Boy, isn't that the truth.
All right, hold on.
What else we got? Beautiful Doberman, absolutely 100%. And there, oh my goodness, look at that.
It's my Goffin cockatoo.
Wow, she is gorgeous.
He's a boy. She's a boy.
He. Okay.
Yes. His name is Sunny Boy.
Hey, Sonny, what's up?
Say hi. Can you say hi? He's really shy about talking. I've only had him for about 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually going to start doing podcasts about my birds on Rumble, right? Pagan's Rumble channel. I'm thinking about tonight doing one on a background on him. He's supposedly 8 years old. He just turned 8 on July 31st. and I am his fifth home
Oh, wow.
in 8 years. So he is cage territorial,
Mm-hmm.
which is good, but it's also bad. There's there's a good and a bad to everything, right? The good thing is he is cage territorial. I can leave his door open and he's not going to leave. He's going to stay
Mm-hmm.
on his house. He's not going to go anywhere. But we do have the pet cam set up. So if I'm in the other room or I need to take a shower, I can watch him on the pet cam. And he's not aggressive, right? Some birds that are cage territorial, they'll get real aggressive. You won't even be able to put your hand in their house. They'll attack. His thing is, we've been working on him stepping up from his house because he doesn't want to. You know, he would rather stay on. He feels safe. That's his safe place. Yeah. He is a biter. Okay. If he gets excited, he will bite. If he wants your attention, he will bite. Now, he hasn't bitten me hard to draw any marks, leave any marks or anything. But he's doing really well with, stepping up from his house now. We've been working on a lot of stuff. What you looking at? You say hi? You say hi?
Hi.
He does give me kisses sometimes. I have to be careful, because I don't want him to bite my face off. But he's a good bird. Aren't you a good bird? Can I see your wings? You see your wings? You see your wings? Let me see your wings. He'll puff up. Let me see your wings. No. You say hi?
Hey.
Hi. 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 Say hi.
Hi. Hi.
See, you'd be able to see all his reels and stuff on Facebook, but you're not over there. Say hi. He's checking out the laptop. He's like, what is that? He's not very destructive, which is really good. He likes cloth. Anything material is what he likes. His beak does overgrow. Okay, his beak is made out of Carrington. It's like fingernails, right?
Yeah.
If I can't get him to chew, then we got to. Where are you going? Nope. Step up. Then we have to. I have to take him in, and they got to trim his beak back. But I finally found something where I can get him to chew. So hopefully we'll start getting his beak back all the way it should be. Where are you going? Step up, step up, step up, step up. No bites. Step up. Good boy. See how he wanted to bite me? And that's what he'll do when he's on his house or in it. You try to get him to step up, and as soon as you put your arm to him, he'll bow because he wants you to pet him. Or he's moving in for a bite, and you can tell the difference. What are you doing? Yeah, hi.
Hi.
You say hi. Is you a good bird? Okay, now he's showing me affection. Rubbing his cheek on my arm. You show mama love? Yeah, that's so nice. Don't you bite? Oh, that's so nice. What do you think? You like that? Yeah. Hi. Did you hear? He said hi. Did you hear?
I did hear that.
What are you doing? He mocks me. Everything I say, he repeats it. I swear. Don't you? Are you a silly bird? You are a silly bird. But he had a vet appointment, because I don't have any medical history. And they tested it's called guano, his poop, because it's always watery. But they tested it and he's fine. And he weighs 315 grams, which is 0.7 pounds. And
okay, so just over half a pound.
Yeah. The vet said he is an extremely healthy bird. So that's good for being his fifth home.
Yeah.
And cockatoos, okay, he's in the cockatoo family. Cockatoos are the most popular bird that needs rehomed or rescue. Because what happens, they'll get these birds and they let them do bad things. Okay, these guys have the intelligence of a 3 to a 5-year-old. And they know exactly what you're saying. Step up, get down, no bites, come here. He knows that. They know. You're smart. No, you're smart. Are you smart? No, you're not smart. Are you smart? Yeah. Are you smart? I guess. No, I can't. He said, Mom, I can't. Thanks a lot. Oh, I went to put him to bed last night. And I said, you want to go to bed? You want to go night night? I'm like, come on, let's go. He goes, I'm like, no, I got a reel. That's what I'm saying. You're missing the reels. But I'll be starting to do, my bird. Now, my cockatiel, oh my God, he talks and he says so much stuff. I have to write it down to keep up with him. He will be a year old in December. My husband got him for my birthday. And then we adopted this guy, didn't we? He came across my path twice. First time I was like, I'm going to be too busy. I don't think I can do it. Nope, couldn't do it. And then he came across my path the second time. And I told my husband, I said, we have to get this bird. We have to.
Yeah.
I mean, he came across my path twice for a reason.
Yeah.
So we adopted him, didn't we? Did you good bird? Okay, hi. Say hi. Don't you bite.
Hi.
Are you famous?
Hi.
Oh, he's learned how to use the trash can because it sets. We got the bar in the kitchen, and there's some space where we put the trash can, and it's automated, like sensor. Oh yeah, he's learned how to play with that. He'll, open, and then he's like, "What's going on?" I said, "It's magic. You do magic, don't you? Where are you going? Where are you going? Watch. Get down. See. Step up. Good job. It's a good job. It's a good job. Say, buy my mama's book." No, anytime you want to do a podcast, then let me know.
All right, definitely.
If you got knowledge on it, we'll do it.
All right, sounds great.
Anytime you want. And don't hide those eyes next time, okay?
Well, everyone, if you want the book, there is a link in the description below. It takes you right to the listing on Amazon, and you can get it in hardcover or paperback. Yep. We recommend the paperback for study purposes, and the hardcover just to have something really nice.
Yes, definitely. I really, I have to say it again. I am so blessed to know that my book has helped you the way that it has. I mean,
it definitely has. And incredible. And I imagine upon a couple more readings, it's gonna do even more than that.
Yeah, don't forget to do your daily reading.
Definitely. So I want to thank you for coming on. So thank you so much for coming on. And I want to thank every one of you who have tuned in either for the live stream and contributed some comments, or for those who just stopped in to watch the replay, whether it's here on YouTube or on the Grove of Odin or anywhere else. Feel free to drop your comments into the boxes down below. And don't forget, pick up a copy of this book. It's money well spent. And you're not going to have the first copy like I do, but you will have your own.
Hey, if you ever want to do a live book signing, let me know.
Will do. All right.
Since you already, the book was already delivered to you, you can ship the book to me. We can do a live book signing, and then I'll ship it back.
Hey, that sounds great.
Yeah. Do a live, you just have to pay for the shipping. So
right on. Okay. So to everyone watching, just remember, we love you all. Take care of yourselves and each other. Always do what lights you up, and as always, shine on.
Can I say what I like to say?
Go right ahead.
Remember, pagans, we are legion, and we are strong.
Couldn't have ended it any better than myself.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good bird.